been waiting for some time to be able to do this, and I'm happy to be able to do it today. It introduced you to, now it's a not so new, Airport Director, Kim Dickie. And joining Kim today is Kenny Larkin, who is Chair of the Airport Commission. And as an Airport Commission member, I'm pleased to serve with him on that. Kim comes to us via San Francisco. Originally, she's from Delaware. Graduated from college in graphic arts. Talk about a career change. Moved to San Francisco and decided that she wanted to fly and get involved with aviation. So she joined the Air Force, served for 4 years, and following that, became part of the Air Force Reserve. And she will put in her 25th year this year, leaving the Air Force Reserve. She served and has been with the San Francisco Airport for 20 years and was head of security and initiated a variety of projects, which if she wants to describe them, she can, in terms of how to deal with security at an airport. I think we all recognize that the airport is absolutely critical to the health and vitality of Central Oregon. And going forward is going to be even more critical in terms of assuring strong economic growth here. And we are very pleased, I can say that I think on behalf of the Commission, that Kim has joined us. She's no stranger to Central Oregon. She has family here and she's visited quite often. So with that, a hearty round for Kim Dickie. Kim, the floor is yours.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me. And I think this is my first opportunity actually to speak before a group. So you guys will have to give me some feedback. I've been here for about 5 months, since January this year, and it has certainly been a whirlwind. I was attracted here for some of the reasons David stated. It's a beautiful community, it's a beautiful area. I have family here, I've visited a number of times. Had a great opportunity to travel through the airport prior to the construction, during the construction, after the construction, and I've always just been amazed with the facility. So it was a great opportunity when I got a chance to come here with the airport manager. One of my focal points, certainly over the past few months, and learning as much as I could from Carrie Novick before she left, was trying to establish a lot of relationships with a lot of the community leaders, meeting a lot of folks, and obviously just learning the organization as a whole. Coming from a large airport to a small airport, it's different in that you just get to wear a lot more hats and you've got a lot more to learn. So it has been really fast and furious learning, but I'm really enjoying it. One of the things that we do have in place, just to kind of let you know how we're structured, we have an advisory board, which David had alluded to earlier. We have an airport commission of 9 members, which both Kenny Larkin and David Hood are part of that effort. And they assist us in making recommendations to the city council. They help us in obviously maintaining good relationships with the community, being our ears and eyes, because we, as a small airport, can't do it all. And we can't reach out, always with just reliance on our own team and our own staff. Some of their goals also is to help us be financially efficient, and also we want to be, certainly as mentioned earlier, an economic engine for the community, and that's very vital. I'm sure you've heard some of the stories recently in the news in terms of one of the concerns I'm sure the community has is in regards to air service. Last week we got an announcement that Legion Air, who does contribute quite a bit of air service to our area, has decided to leave in mid-August. And they had started service here in 2007, so they've been a good air carrier partner for a number of years. So it's sad to see them leave. Financially, it was just not economically feasible for them to continue service. And it is somewhat typical of that airline to easily be able to pull out of a community and then add service to another community. So possibly they may come back in the future, we don't know. But we are looking at making plans, and some of the things that we're doing in terms of that are that we're working really closely to work with our existing carriers to add some additional flights. And we realize that, you know, there's a big need for travel to Southern California. Certainly, I think people have a lot of interest in Phoenix, certainly interest in Las Vegas, because those were some of the areas that Legionnaire was serving for us. Some of the things we're doing is, and you may not be aware, but part of the Airport Commission, we have a member on our Airport Commission who's part of a group called Coast. And Coast is basically a small group that includes members from EDCO, from COVA, from our chamber, myself, and we also have a volunteer, a gentleman who's used to be an air service consultant, so he's been really key and a great part of that small team that we have. Essentially what we do is we meet every so often as needed, and we talk about what we need in terms of service to the community. And one of the things that we are doing is we're looking at actually applying for the Department of Transportation grant, an air service grant. And we're hoping to compete well against other small communities like us. But essentially, if we can get a grant, it will help us allure an airline or possibly help us with our existing carriers to bring some more service to us with the focus, again, on Southern California. One of the other things that's really important to me over the next 6 months to a year is really focusing on marketing the airport. I think it's a wonderful facility. It has a lot to offer. And I think one thing that maybe we want to do is really look at how we market the airport in a much more strong message, not only to the local community, but also continuing to work with EDCO and COVA in doing that. I was out early this morning at 5 o'clock with a local photographer, and we were actually out there taking some photographs. We were out in the tower, we were out on the terminal ramp, and all over the place. And so we want to be able to use those photos in publications, and updating hopefully our website, and being able to communicate a little bit better to our airlines and to the community what we provide in terms of service. We have a lot of projects going, and an airport never, regardless of size, always has a capital improvement project happening. And this year we're focused on doing some construction on a general aviation ramp. We've got a lot of asphalt that's been out there since the 1940s when it was an Air Force base. So it's a never-ending project. Once you get one thing done, it's like your house, you get started all over again. So we're looking at doing that. We're actually looking at extending the taxiway on the ramp. And a lot of these additions will just kind of help the airport operations run a little more efficiently, especially for our tower folks, and then certainly, you know, operational safety as well. A big project that we're looking at is basically 2 years down the road, and we have to start kind of planning for that now in order to make it happen. But a big thing will be for us to overlay the runways, which have not been overlaid in 15 years. And so again, the airport has a primary runway service for the air carriers, and the secondary runway is primarily used for general aviation. So that will be keeping us busy this next year. Another one of the things that we foresee is we have a company doing a study for us, actually for the airport, for the city council, on economic study on airport property that's currently located outside the perimeter fence line. And this is one of the reasons we're doing it is to create and stimulate economic development around the airport. The airport's very attractive, and also to, you know, help the airport also be self-sustaining. We've got a number of things going on. We've got a number of plans and initiatives that we're working on. But I'd like to kind of field any questions you might have for me, or any thoughts you might like to share. I'd be welcome to answer any questions. I want to make sure I cover anything that you would like to hear about the airport. Has everybody traveled through any time recently, or I hope everybody's. Don't go to Portland. Want to go for Redmond. So. Yes.
Do you have anything preliminary from the group that's doing the study with regards to the property that's outside the fence and what the future might hold for that?
We're not expecting that until probably another month to 2 months. We'll be doing an evaluation and comparing Redmond and the size of airport it is against other airports of like size. And trying to understand what they do in terms of marketing and development and what kind of companies they try to attract. So it'll be good information for us to have going forward and for plans.
You had mentioned Southern California. There used to be a flight to LA. Is that being looked at again? Is that what we're talking about, one of them?
It is. We really want to target LA, but I think we're going to be asking for service to Southern California, realizing there's a number of airports down there. I realize that, I understand Alaska used to serve, had service for about 4 years down there, and they lost it in 2010. So there seems to be a real interest and a real push from the community for that, and I think it really needs as well. And I think we can easily prove that we've got enough traffic between our and airlines and all service.
Good.
Keeping our fingers crossed. We've been actually asking for a lot of letters of community support that we add to that particular grant, and kind of adds and shows how interested and involved the community is in how important it is. So we've been working on that effort actually this week.
So where did we lose service to that we previously had when Allegiant decided to pull out?
Allegiant had started service to Oakland the end of August, and that was planned to be a regular ongoing flight. They also provided seasonal service for about 3 months to Phoenix Mesa Airport, and I believe prior to that it had also been an ongoing annual flight, but they had reduced it to seasonal service in the summer. So we'll be losing service to those 2 cities. And then earlier this year, Allegiant had announced that they were pulling the Las Vegas flight. And we say it was probably emotional.
Do we have anybody else who is currently going to either of those 3 locations?
Not directly.
What carrier service, Redmond?
What's carrier's current service right now? Alaska, Horizon, Delta, and United. So we essentially have 3.
Being new on the job, I'm kind of curious, there's always surprises. What was the biggest surprise for you?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, I think I was just, I think I was really happy to see how involved the community was in the airport and how much interest there is and how important it is. And an opportunity for me is just kind of be able to contribute to that effort at a different level than I would say at San Francisco Airport. So I think it was just, you know, coming from a big airport, metropolitan area, I think sometimes it's not always recognized how important an airport is to a location or city. And to me, it's very clear here the community is totally supportive of the airport and wants to do whatever it is to make it successful. That was really great to see.
With your term in the Air Force and with your experience in airport management, what do you think you really bring to Redmond? When you were promoting yourself to the Redmond interview group, what do you think? What did you tell them? What do you think, or at least now, what do you think you bring to us?
I think when you work at any other airport, you bring best practices that you've seen or you've observed, and you just try to apply it in a different facility, maybe a different size facility. Certainly you bring established relationships from other airports, and obviously networking, and being able to have resources in the community.
Mine is not a question, it's just a kind of a statement. Last fall, I flew out of the airport here, and it's the first time I've been out there, and just amazed at the kind of facility that it is. And of course, hopefully we maintain it or improve it. But for a little town, but it's really a larger area, you can serve a lot of communities, but for a little town, it's amazing at the airport.
I think it's very well built. I'm very impressed with it. And the airport team, although small, take a lot of pride, and they do an amazing job of keeping that facility clean. You go through any other airport, I don't think you'll see one as nice as Redmond in terms of the way it's maintained.
Your security system seems like first class too, as far as your scanning equipment. I've got an artificial reading, all I do is stand there and that's it. Otherwise, they have to go through a full pat down.
Yeah, Yeah, the TSA have made a lot of improvements. Someone who recently joined the airport was the TSA manager, a gentleman named Mark Waters, and he's new as well. He just came from Sacramento Airport, and he and I actually started on the same days. But he'd be happy to come chat anytime as well if you would like. He has an interest in outreaching to the different organizations. And what I've typically seen over the last few years too is that TSA is making strides to kind of reduce the hassle factor and really kind of just be more smart in terms of screenings. So that's good.
This is regards to the restaurant upstairs. I noticed that you have to go through security to get up there, so how does the public get up there to eat if you...
If you want to.
Yeah.
You know, right now to get into that area, you've got to be either escorted by an airport employee or you have to have a ticket, obviously, on the flight. And I know that the airport has had a vacant space for a very long time in front of the facility that is destined to be a restaurant. Unfortunately, I think just the times being what they are, it's been very difficult to lure someone to come in and actually invest some dollars into building out, you know, a restaurant. And so we're looking at some other alternatives, maybe on a much smaller scale, even on a newborn basis. But unfortunately, right now, it's very limited, and all we currently have is the one concession, which is pre-security, and they have very limited, you know, coffee.
But you can go up there if you get someone to escort you up there?
You'd have to really have a business purpose, typically.
Other
you
than
know.
eating?
Eating's always good, we want your money. We want your money. But, yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is, and it's not the best situation, but we realize it.
Now, you said don't fly out of Portland.
Don't fly out of Portland.
But I know a lot of people in mind, like I myself, whenever I look at flights, I have to go out to the Midwest. It's more of a affordability factor. Whenever I'm flying my whole family out, I'm looking at a several $100 difference. Is the airport doing anything to address those concerns? Because I know a lot of people that do drive to Portland because of those reasons.
I think the best thing we can do is just offer more competition, get more airlines in to reduce their fares. But typically, the airline sets the fares, of course. The airport doesn't really have too much involvement in that. The challenge is when you're operating smaller aircraft, their profitability is much less. Larger aircraft, their profitability increases, and they can reduce the ticket fares. And so that's the challenge that a smaller facility or smaller airport like we have here has. So it's fairly typical, and it's
So the supply and demand issue.
and profitability on running the aircraft time. So if we have a 737 or an MD-80, then they could do very well on ticket prices, but for the fact that we don't, you know, that's the challenge. But if we can learn from them. Hi.
We've flown out of Redmond a couple of times this year and find the TSA staff cheerful as opposed to being grumpy that we found elsewhere. So if you have anything to do with maintaining that, please exert yourself.
I'll let Mark know. I'd be happy to hear that. Always good news. It's not easy traveling through, and I know typically when you leave here, you're going through multiple destinations. This is not, you know, it's not necessarily as you're in maybe Seattle or Portland or Salt Lake City, but you know, I think most of us who travel now are here.
For a family, it costs more, but we find that for a little bit of extra, you gotta stay at a hotel in Portland, and all the extra hassle of driving over there. But we went to Florida in March, and we had great connections, you know, United. You know, we're going to DC Friday.
Portland is like.
Yeah, we fly to Portland, and then we direct in and come back San Francisco here. But it seemed like the airlines had a coordinate really. There was no long layovers, at least we haven't had it.
That's good, and that's typically why you see a lot of early flights in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Is because people are trying to get to their final destination. So making that connecting stop is important. And I agree, you know, I travel enough where I don't want to sit around in an airport for hours and hours and hours.
Right.
I want to get where I'm going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kim, you might want to talk about the connection between the airport and emergency preparedness for the state.
Certainly, that's a great topic. So I actually got a recent visit from a gentleman from FEMA, and the Redmond Airport has been designated as a FEMA site where the kind of possible, you know, catastrophic event that could occur. And I know Mayor Endicott has been very involved in looking at the Cascadia fault line, the potential for an earthquake to occur along the coast of Oregon. And so, because Redmond offers, has the facilities, has the focus, has the tax base, so we're limited to 7,000 feet runway as a limited site, and it's really secluded, obviously very attractive for your FEMA to be an emergency site. I know that we should be military aircraft, so do you have anything else you'd like to mention on that? Might not be covering it fully enough, but
Well,
what
just the fact
typically
that
happens is you have some.
that leads to the opportunity to significantly lengthen one's runways.
And so it's a combination of
That leads to
weight
obviously
or weight limitations.
the ability to bring in larger planes. So
That's where we have some
building for the
challenges.
future
So
and
we look
using
to
FEMA as a base for
redo
that.
runways.
Hopefully within the next 2 or 3 years, we can begin to generate some dollars from FEMA, Forest Service and others.
More
to-
incentive
to-
for airlines to come in. They don't have any operating limitations.
You think they would come in if they had long runways?
I think that it would be very beneficial for them from an economic feasibility. That way they don't have to limit idle fuel passengers, and sometimes it does typically happen in the wintertime, winter conditions here. And then also in the summertime, especially for Forest Service that operate out of here. And they're, you know, obviously a great tenant, they're a huge partner in the airport. They're very reliant, obviously, to operate, especially during the summer months.
If we did have a Cascadia event off the coast, current projections are that Redmond would have to accept upwards of 100,000 refugees. Will the airport be able to handle some of that?
I think we would be looked at for one site, I think in addition probably the Deschutes County Fairgrounds, certainly being right next door. One of the things they look at is do we have laydown area in terms of being able to provide service for trucks, temporary housing. So in terms of ramp space, we do have quite a bit of ramp space. I don't know that typically the airport would be the focal point for, say, temporary housing as much as it would be for a focal point for moving, you know, transport needs.
Will we have the planes to do it, is what I'm asking.
Sorry?
Will you have the planes to do it, is what I'm asking.
We would be more of the, typically what happens is FEMA would come in and essentially take over the airport. And we would be assisting them and providing them whatever they needed for support.
I saw in the paper where they're extending the runway and they were gonna relocate the Brineville Highway and all kinds of things up that way. What's keeping them from going that way?
The airport has actually a plan that's, it's like a 10-year plan of kind of what you'd like to do down the road with the airport master plan. And actually it says to go both ways, 1,500 feet on each end. So, you know, neither is, you know, that would be a huge challenge to do. It would be interesting if we could get it done, but I think it would be years away and it would be a lot of effort to be able to put that together. I know it's not easy to move roads, but.
Okay, Kim, thank you for joining us and bringing the Redmond Airport here. As you can tell, this community is very proud of that airport, and it's been a classic example of what can happen in a public-private partnership. Okay, so that's how that thing happens. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.